In F1 Fantasy, the no negative chip can be a safety net for your weekend, but only if you play it at the right time. In this video, I'll break down exactly how the no negative chip works, when it's actually worth using, and walk through a real race example where it saved over 60 points. And if you enjoy strategy breakdowns, chip guides, and interviews you won't find anywhere else, make sure you like and subscribe. And consider joining our YouTube channel, where members get early access to every strategy video before anyone else. All right, let's get into it. Like every chip in F1 Fantasy, the no negative chip can only be used once per season, so timing matters. When you activate it, any negative scoring category for every driver and constructor on your team is set to 0 at the end of the race weekend. That means no lost points when things go wrong. But, and this is important, no negative does not cancel transfer penalties. So if you exceed your free transfer limit, those 10-point hits still apply. So this chip protects your lineup and not your transfer mistakes. Here are the ways our fantasy teams can score negative points. Not classified or no representative lap time set in qualifying, disqualifications in qualifying the sprint or the Grand Prix, DNFs where the driver completes less than 90% of the race distance, positions lost during the sprint or Grand Prix, and constructors lose a point if neither driver reaches Q2. In short, it's crashes, reliability failures, penalties, and bad luck. And that's why no negative is mainly a risk management chip. To maximize this chip, your number one goal is avoiding DNF penalties, since it's a brutal minus 20 points for not finishing a Grand Prix. Let's take a look at a real example. At the 2025 Miami Grand Prix, this team activated no negative and saved 64 fantasy points. And it was the number 2 team in the world, 44th gear. Here's how they saved all those points. They had Liam Lawson, Gabriel Bortoleto, and Ollie Behrman all DNF, so those minus 20 penalties were all saved. Red Bull lost 3 points for positions lost, and Isaac Hadjar lost 1 point for positions lost. That's 64 points saved and a huge advantage over teams that didn't play a chip. And when you check the team afterwards, you'll actually see those negative scoring categories crossed out, and that shows exactly what the chip protected. So here's the key takeaway. No negative isn't about chasing upside, it's about eliminating downside. Use it when chaos is likely, risk is high, and the chance of DNFs is elevated. Historically, the best times to use no negative is during wet race weekends, and specifically wet sprint weekends. Why is that? It's because we have 2 races, which means double the chances for chaos. When we look at last season among the top 500 teams in the global league, 35% used no negative in Miami, 23% in Brazil, and 22% at Spa. All 3 of these were wet sprint weekends. When we look at Miami, 7 drivers failed to finish between the sprint and Grand Prix. In Brazil, we had 6 drivers retire. Spa was an exception, but that was because the race start was delayed until the conditions cleared, and there was no way for F1 fantasy players to predict that. Looking ahead to 2026, keep a close eye on sprint weekends that frequently feature rain. I'm looking at Miami, Canada, Silverstone, and Zandvoort. These are prime no negative targets and are worth circling on your calendar. If you found this video helpful, drop a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next strategy breakdown. And I'll see you in the next one right here on the Fantasy Formula.